Welcome back, everybody. Thank you for watching. Today we're talking red dots. So if you watch the channel, you know that I'm a huge fan of aim points and EOTechs. For different reasons, the aim points are super durable, just bomb-proof red dots, and the EOTechs are a blast to shoot. That's probably my overall favorite red dot is the EOTech. That large window size and the donut of death reticle, it's just a blast to shoot. But as I'm sure you also know, those are both super expensive red dots. And over the last few years, yes, once again, I'm late to the party like everything else, a company by the name of Holosun has really been stepping their game up. And I was skeptical on these for a long time, but after seeing a lot of guys that I really trust buying these optics and putting out videos on them and, torturing them pretty good, I've kind of realized that for half the price or less than half the price, you can get a pretty comparable optic. Now, I'm not claiming anything crazy like Holosuns are as durable as aim points. That's obviously not the case, but let's be honest, 90% of us will never need the durability that an aim point provides. It's overkill for most of us, including myself. As long as the red dot can hold up in bad weather and relatively harsh conditions, it's more than enough for most of us. So I bought one. This is the Holosun HS503CU. Now, I'm not gonna go spec crazy in this video. I wanna quickly go over some of the major details and then get to shooting this thing. So from what I read, the HE models are their elite models and probably the ones that are gonna cost a little bit more money and probably be a little bit more durable. But I've seen pretty good reviews on the HS models as well. Now, obviously this looks very similar to an Aimpoint Micro. I think that's kind of the design they were going for there, and it actually has quite a few features that I wish red dots like aim points and EOTechs would adopt. So the battery life on this, from what I read, it's kind of all over the place. I've read it can get up to like 50,000 hours depending on the brightness settings you have, or 10,000 hours if you run it really hard. So either way, really good battery life. I'll probably change the batteries out before I ever get to the end of it, but comparable to an aim point, honestly. And there's a couple features that they put in these Holosuns that really extend that battery life, I'm sure. So one of them is this solar panel here, and the solar panel obviously uses the light from the sun or the room that you're in or whatever to light the reticle automatically. So if you're in a dimly lit area, it's not going to be too bright, and vice versa. Now that sounds great in theory. I have used it. I came out here yesterday and zeroed this optic, and there's definitely some issues with it. Like if you're inside of a house shooting through a window at a target that's outside, obviously it wouldn't be bright enough because your target would be in the sun and you're in the shade. Situations like that, the solar panel doesn't work, but luckily you can turn it off and go into full manual mode and turn your brightness up and down as you need. There's also a feature they call the shake awake feature. It's genius. I've seen other optics do it, like my SIG or Romeo Zero does it. I wish EOTechs would incorporate this. It would probably help them extend their battery life a little bit. But basically after 10 minutes of no use, if the red dot has been sitting still, it turns off. And then as soon as you pick it up or even just touch it a little bit, it comes on. So whenever you pick it up, it will always be on, but if it sits for a month in the safe, it's not going to be on that entire time. So I love that feature, and again, I'm sure that really helps extend the battery life. Now, like I said in the beginning of the video, this one was actually under 300 bucks, which is just absolutely crazy. Now, they do make some that are over $300 and even $400, and from what I've heard, those are also well worth the money. But getting a red dot like this for under $300 is just crazy, especially when you think about the price of some of the aim points and EOTechs out there, especially the new aim points, man. Every time I look at the price tag on like a Comp M5, red dots like that, it just blows my mind that they're charging $900 basically for a little red dot that you put on your target. I guess they're worth it, and I know, why people pay that. Aim points have a legendary reputation, and I'm sure there's a lot of, technology that goes into making an optic that durable, but man, it's just hard to justify spending that kind of money. I've got a couple, but I won't be buying the new ones anytime soon, I'll tell you that. Now, a major reason that I love this Holosun and a bunch of other ones that they offer is because it has the option of switching between the EOTech's reticle, basically, which is not really the same, we'll get into that in a minute, and the Aimpoint's 2 MOA dot reticle. So, as you guys know, I'm a huge fan of the donut of death, they call it. It's the EOTech reticle, basically, and it gives you a 65 MOA ring with a 2 MOA dot in the middle of it. The EOTech, I believe, has a 1 MOA dot, but the Holosun is a 2 MOA dot. But with the EOTech, there has been times when I wish I could turn that big ring off if I'm shooting longer range or trying to be more precise or something like that. And with this one, it gives you the option to do that, so it's pretty much perfect. Now, I will say there are some differences between this and the EOTech because the EOTech is a holographic sight, and it uses completely different technology to project that reticle onto the glass, and you really do see it. With the EOTech, it's got a weird, it almost looks like it's projecting the reticle onto the target. I don't know how they do that and why red dots don't appear the same, but the EOTech, like even when you step back or move closer, it just looks like it's almost three-dimensional, whereas red dots don't have that technology, and for whatever reason, they don't project the reticle quite the same. It also looks really pixelated through an EOTech, so you can almost see through the reticle onto the target. It's just the perfect red dot to use that reticle. So with the Holosun, you're kind of getting like the red dot version of that reticle, so it is a little different, but you can use it just the same, and it does work really well. Another thing I like about the Holosun is they include two different mounts. They include this lower 1/3 co-witness mount, which is good for AR-15s and stuff like that. And they also include like a flush mount, so you can mount it on AKs and stuff like that. With aim points, you spend $800 or $900 and you don't even get a mount with the red dot half the time. So I like that as well. It's got half MOA adjustments, very similar to the aim point. It's got the turret caps on top you can remove, and then use the cap to adjust your windage and elevation. One thing I don't love about it is you can't use just the 2 MOA dot in the automatic mode. So you have to switch over to the manual mode and then turn off your donut to just have the 2 MOA dot. So if you want to go automatic and have the brightness adjust on its own, depending on what room you're in, you got to go with the donut of death. I will say it works pretty good in a house, but outside is where I've kind of seen issues with the automatic. But either way, it's cool technology, and I'm sure it'll just continue to get better as time goes on. So yeah, I think that's about it. If this thing holds up like I expect it to, I'll probably be a Holosun fan from here on out. There are others that I want to try as well, like the Vortex Huey, the Gen 2. I really want to get that. I've been looking for that one for months and just can't find it. But for now, I'm excited about the Holosuns because for the price, they seem to be really good red dots. So enough talking, let's go shoot it. All right, so I switched it from the donut of death over to the 2 MOA dot. I want to try this out a little bit. Let's do it. I like it. I do understand where people are coming from that don't like the donut of death because it is kind of busy, whereas just the 2 MOA dot or like a 1 MOA dot is much more simple. You can see a lot more of the target. It's a little smoky down there. All right, so this is gonna be super random, but I have been wanting to shoot this thing forever, and today seems like a great day to do it. So, hanging from my target hanger here, we have a 20-pound kettlebell. Never mind the frozen pumpkins in the background. But you can see where it says 20 right there on the front of it, and as you can imagine, this thing feels solid. Now, I'm sure most of you guys can tell that I do lift heavy weight, but every time I see this thing, I wonder how bulletproof it is. So I'm not sure what it's made out of, if it's like solid iron or if there's something in the middle of it or what. Maybe we'll find out, but I definitely want to see if it's bulletproof or not. So we're definitely going to step back quite a ways for this because I don't want to risk any ricochets like that, but put your guesses down below what you think is going to happen. All right, so we're kind of hidden behind my truck, and since it's so small, I'm going to use my little shooting rest here, but we're going to start with just some regular old steel cased wolf and see what it does. Hopefully our sight's on. Holy crap. Well, I heard it smack it. It didn't look like it moved very much either. Let's check it out. All right, before we walk up on this, if you haven't put your guesses down below, go ahead and do it. You guys are usually better than I am at predicting this kind of stuff, so I'm gonna guess it probably went about a couple inches deep, like I do every night. But I don't know, it felt really solid, so I could be wrong. Let's check it out. Wow. Yeah, I was definitely wrong. Holy cow, that is almost no damage. I mean, it definitely dented it, but probably like 1/4 of an inch at the most. So far, it looks like it's just solid metal, but we're gonna shoot it with something else and see if we can get a little deeper. All right, next up, we got some brass cased 223. Nothing special, just 55 grain, but this stuff is quite a bit hotter than the Wolf. So the problem is, a lot of these bullets have different points of impact because they're completely different. So hopefully we can hit it again. Man, every time I hit that thing, I get a little nervous. All right, so there's our first shot right there and our second shot right there. So really not that big of a difference. I mean, definitely a deeper hole, but not as big of a difference as I was expecting. So this might turn into a whole video one day. I might bring out a bunch of different guns, some higher powered rifles, and just see how bulletproof this kettlebell is. But I got a couple more rounds I want to shoot this thing with, and I think one of them might do a little bit better. All right, so first up we have a 5.56 American Eagle tracer round. Now this shouldn't do too much more damage. Maybe it will, I really don't know. But I have heard these can have accuracy problems. I don't know how true that is. This will be a good test for it because this target is tiny, but let's see if we can hit it. Maybe it'll look cool on the slow-mo. I've never had a good result out of these 5.56 tracers. I think you have to be really far away for them to ignite because the bullet's going so fast. Let's see. Smoked it. I definitely heard the impact. And to be honest, that looked like the most violent impact so far. It kicked up a lot of smoke and debris, so let's see. All right, well, that was our first impact on the middle of the kettlebell, which is kind of cool, but really not too much different from the other two. So maybe that tracer ignited when it hit the kettlebell and that was some of that smoke that we saw, or maybe because it hit in the middle of it, it sent some of that shrapnel down and kicked up some debris. I really don't know. Maybe the slow-mo will show us some of that, but we got one more. All right, I flipped the kettlebell around so we have a fresh side for this one, and I'm sure this is the one you're all expecting, but this is the 62 grain M855 green tip. This round is not good for a lot of things, but the one thing it is good for is penetrating hard barriers, so this should do better than the others. Sounded good. All right, well, there's our impact from the green tip. Definitely the best one that we shot. It actually looks like it's going a lot deeper than it really is. It pretty much stops right away. I would say it's about a ½ inch deep, but by far the best one that we shot. And we have to come out here one day and do a full-length video trying to shoot through a kettlebell with some more powerful rifles, because this is not what I expected. That green tip is a hard bullet to stop, and it just stopped it no problem. So I'm impressed. So the red dot's working great, but I saved the most important test for last. Oh yeah. We're at point blank range, by the way. Yeah. Make sure there's nothing left. I thought that one tried to escape. Well, everybody, on that note, I think I'm gonna go ahead and wrap this video up right here. It smells like twisted tea like crazy out here. So I actually shot the first one that knocked over all the others, which I expected it to do, and I was trying to hit them while they were moving. I think I missed it a couple times, but we took care of those. So the Holosun, I love the red dot. I love Holosun as a company, really. I was kind of skeptical for years. I'm obviously really late to this party, but after seeing a few guys on the internet and guys that I really respect give, you know, Holosun praises, it's really exciting to have a red dot like that that doesn't cost $600, $700, $800 like a lot of the other ones out there. So I like it. Let me know in the comments what you guys think. I know a lot of you guys have been shooting these dots for years, and once again, I am late to the party like I am with everything, but hope you all enjoyed it. If you did, let me know down below, and as always, hit that like button for me, guys. I'd really appreciate it. Thank you all for watching, and I'll see you next time.